I want to be known as one of the best players to play the game. I've wanted that since I can remember.
Slices right through the Atlanta defense. Oh, and Shai right down the lane. Puts him on the deck and then puts it in.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is currently leading the NBA in points totals overall while barely relying on three-pointers. In fact, he's not even in the top 50 players for three-pointers made this season or three-point percentages. How is it that SGA is dominating the NBA with regular two-pointers alone? Well, that answer is easy. He knows how to absolutely destroy and manipulate defenses. You can almost bet if you're playing against him, you're either going to draw the foul for him to make a free throw, or he's just gonna finesse you and make the bucket. Either way, it's like you're walking on thin ice against SGA. Let's take a walk through what is exactly that SGA does to cause the defense to fall for his tricks, which has led him to be one of the top players in isolation and the top player in free throws made in the NBA overall. When it comes to isolation, there aren't a lot of players who have executed it well, but for Shai being second in the league under Luka Doncic, he sits at 1.19 points per possession and is absolutely giving the defense a headache. Shai's attack is built off of the way he's able to quickly change the pace at any given moment or even completely stop. Further, he's able to improvise in the moment and make moves on defenders when they least expect it. For example, against the Cavs, Shai drives the ball just past LeVert. But what's amazing about this guy's footwork and mindset is that the second LeVert turns his body to run with Shai, he then immediately stops. This creates enough space for Shai to make the pull-up jump shot. And as for the defense, they never stood a chance. This guy's footwork, transitions, and change of pace is what really sets him apart. Ultimately, the way he's able to create space is an essential part of his skill set. Against Golden State, Shai makes it look like he's gonna drive fast to the net with Curry defending him. Just before approaching the paint, he knows he isn't going to make the drive through Curry and Saric, so he makes a quick transition to make the jump shot and uses Steph's own momentum to his advantage to create the gap he needs to make the shot. Again in the same game, he makes the drive to the net with Kuminga on him and then meets with Saric as well, but then again uses the space from their momentum and decides to make the quick switch up for the jump shot. Everything this guy does looks so seamless and smooth. He makes everything look like it was meant to happen, though he might have chosen to switch gears and improvise on the spot without anyone knowing. His ability to react to every little thing a defender tries to do and then make the adjustments needed in real time is lethal. His patience and court vision really shows. Let's look at the way he creates space, reacts to defenders, and then leaves his defenders in the dust. Against Steph Curry, Shai makes the quick jolt and immediately jukes Steph where the man almost tripped himself into another universe and then leaves Shai wide open for the shot, and the rest is history. Again, creating more space. Shai also uses the same technique against the Bulls. He has Williams at the three-point line, makes a drive, and then immediately stops the moment he turns his body to chase him, and then creates enough space between himself and Williams for the jump shot. At this point, you should recognize once this guy is your body turned with him, you can almost bet he's going to put on the brakes to finesse you with a jump shot. But the problem is, because Shai is so versatile, you can't always guarantee he's going to do that, which is how he manipulates and destroys his defense. To bring my point further, against the Cavs, Shai gets the pass from Lou Dort just outside the three-point line and makes it look like he's gonna drive hard to the net, and he's got Donovan Mitchell, who just committed to turning his body to chase Shai. But instead of completely putting on the brakes, he quickly slows down and then pivots towards the net for the quick layup. Let's throw in another play just because. Against the Jazz, Shai squares up against Chris Dunn at the three-point line, fakes it as if he's gonna get ready to make a shot. As Dunn falls for it, Shai makes a drive, forcing Dunn to turn his body and chase, but things don't work out in Dunn's favor. As a result, Shai has all the time in the world to make the jump shot. Unfortunately, he misses, but hey, legend has it that Dunn is still sliding on the floor to this day. Because you can't always predict what he's going to do, though you think you can, the stats speak for themselves. In total, Shai is #1 for free throws made, as mentioned earlier, scoring 396 out of his 445 free throw attempts, giving him an 89% free throw percentage percentage. The point is, he has a lot of free throw attempts because of how many fouls he takes due to his ability to trick the defense into falling for his moves. Against the Bulls, he'll make the drive past Williams to meet DeRozan at the net. He made the jump and notices DeRozan's hands are up, as they should be, but DeRozan thinks Shai is gonna try to make a basic layup. So in the moment, Shai decides to improvise a quick dodge under DeRozan's hands and instead gets fouled as DeRozan's hands hit Shai in the head. Against the Cavs, this one's a little different. Instead of a player falling for his moves, Shai makes a move on their mistake to draw the foul. Up against LeVert, Shai notices there's no pressure coming at him. He could take the shot, but he's pretty much sitting at half court and he has no other teammates coming in for support. But he notices that LeVert steps in to reach for the ball. So in this moment, Shai uses that to his advantage and makes his move as LeVert impedes his lane. As mentioned earlier, Shai is amazing at creating space. With that, when the defense struggles to keep up, he can also use these plays to his advantage to confuse defenders and what he's going to do. Will he drive all the way? When he stops, will he pass or pivot into something else? If he's given enough time to take the shot, can a defender get back in time to block the shot or cover his eyesight? There are so many scenarios to consider here. In this case, against the Pistons, Shai is at the three-point line against Thompson, uses the pick from Isaiah Joe, and then proceeds to drive against Ivy. But again, the second he turns his body, Shai puts on the brakes. Now he has the space and takes the jump shot. With Ivy so far behind, he struggles to get back and ends up drawing the foul on Shai, making contact after the shot. The way this guy can read the play or the players in order to get defenders to bite on his face so he can draw a foul is literally an art in itself. Let's go with one more play. Against New Orleans, it's Shai and McCollum at the three-point line. Daniels comes in for the double team on the right, so Shai goes left. With McCollum's body moving with him and his chest facing Shai, Shai knows that the left leg is going to impede the lane if he goes right. And, well, that's exactly what Shai does to draw the foul. This is why we said the way Shai can read players and draw fouls is an art. Now, speaking of reading the players, his ability to read a player also gives him an advantage. He knows how the play is going to happen based on your body language alone. In this scenario against the Cavs, Shai isn't getting a lot of pressure from Niang. So in this moment, he knows he doesn't need to make the drive. Instead, he knows he has time to make an easy three-pointer, so he does exactly that. That said, this is a mind game for the defense because the reality is if they challenge Shai, they're likely going to foul him, so it's almost like defensive players are hesitant on how to approach Shai. While they're all playing checkers, Shai is playing chess. Against Golden State, Shai Lazo is Sharridge. Though Shai creates a small diversion here, Sharridge seems hesitant on what's about to happen next. Shai sees that and decides to make the easy three-pointer. This happens again in the same game against Golden State. Shai takes a pass from Chet and then squares up against Looney at the three-point line. Shai reads Looney and knows he can make an easy bucket with the amount of space given, and it's a wrap from there. Now, outside of reading players, he takes reading the play to another level. He's #1 in steals per game and overall at 109 steals as of February 3rd, 2024, ahead of Kawhi Leonard at 72. For example, against the Pistons, Cade Cunningham makes a drive from the three-point line. But watch how Shai is scanning the area. There are 4 OKC players drawn toward Cunningham, yet Shai sits on the outside and has the old top section covered. As Cunningham approaches the net, he's now got 4 players to go through, which makes it highly unlikely for him to make the shot. On top of that, Williams and Giddey are blocking the passing lanes in front of him, so Cunningham has no choice but to pass the ball back at the top where it appears to look open. But Shai is at the right spot and able to intercept the pass. He's also at the right spot in this play against the Spurs. Sohan hands the ball off to Vassell, who doesn't get full control of the ball. And look how far out Shai sees the opportunity to intercept this play. Shai's covering Branham at the corner three-point line and starts to step in just as Vassell steps over the top of the three-point wing and before his next step. Shai steals the ball and takes it all the way to the rim while taking the foul. It's clear that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of the best two-way players in the NBA today. The man just has a natural ability to make steals look so easy. Even against the Cavs with LeVert, he makes a quick move to go left, and even though Mitchell tries to set the pick, Shai swoops in from behind to hit the ball out of his hands. This guy used the pick to his advantage, noticing that LeVert also has to make his way around Mitchell, and well, it ends on a turnover and 2 points for Shai. Check out this next video on the top isolation player in the league, Luka Doncic.